Good morning, everybody, or good evening, good afternoon. Got a couple of things to do because as I've popped in the Discord, I'm running late. This is Lazy Mini Painting after all, so welcome. I am Laz. Nice to meet you. Couple of things I've got to click. And then I've got to share this in the Discord because, well, I'm an idiot and I got up late and now I'm running really far behind on everything. Oh, the joys. Oh, the joys. That'll be my phone telling me I've gone live. Very nice for it to do that, isn't it? So let's pop that in the Discord now. So it is official. I am live. It's up there. People can come and pop in, join us, or not. It's entirely up to them. I have realised that this camera is not set up to be doing this magazine. See? Again, slight adjustments. Not something I thought I'd have to do on a Wednesday morning after being up for 20 minutes. Well, about half an hour, but still. Sorry about the shot there. There we go. I've managed to get my coffee in view as well, isn't that nice? Tighten. That one up, and now tighten. That one up. And that's now got room for this. It's also not quite got the camera in my face. Not quite, it is just here. If you can make it out on there. So, what do we have today? Today we have issue 45. More Boyz. Now, I did build 9 of them last time. I ended up losing the leg for this little shooter guy. So, regarding the build, I'm just going to build that last shooter that I missed from last time. It was 2 weeks ago. If you want to go through and watch that complete debacle of how to just drop everything you need, please go back and watch it with issue 42. But today's issue 45 and I've got to do the noisy bit. I'm hoping I can be heard okay. I hope the sound's working fine. I know sometimes my PC has issues when I run other programs in the background behind the Streamlabs. So let's close them just to make sure that I am getting full sound. And we got a 4K mag up on that one, teeth and everything. So we have the same sprue from that one. I've got a feeling he's going to actually want us to use the same instructions from then as well. And I think I might have thrown them away. Yeah, that was last week's. Oh no, I haven't. I've still got the one. I've still got issue 43, sorry. So, I can still put them together. I haven't lost that one. Because this is going to give us a painting guide, I've got a feeling. It's like more Boyz, missions, and a new scenario. No, it is going to tell us how to put them together again. So, it's going to build, paint, collect, missions, and then a good for crumping scenario. Okay, so it's going to ask us to build more arcs. This time it is telling us to put the claw on it. On the knob. So the claw that I put on last time. Not the big chopper that he wanted you to put on. This time it's telling you to put the claw on. Does it tell us to change the big shooter for the rocket instead this time? Yes, it does. So this time instead of the big shooter, it'll want you to put the rocket on. So I need to find the last shooter guy. With that leg that I missed last time, which was him. So it's 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. That's the guy that I missed last time. I know this because of the shape of his leg. So I'm going to leave these bases in here for now. because I still should have the base out for this Orky Boy right here. Where are my snips? That is a different question. Good morning, Joe. Happy 3 in the morning to you as well, my friend. Happy 3 in the morning. Sorry if I woke you up with notifications. It wasn't my intention to wake people up. It was my intention just to have it in there so you know for later. But I hope you're doing well for 3 in the morning. Either you've had enough sleep and you're up, or you're at least considering winding down and going to get some sleep. I've just got to move some magnets around on these snips because I've got some very small magnets attached to them. Don't ask me why. I just do, and I keep them attached to it as well. So snip, 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 snips. This time we've got a full bloody sprue to look through, and I want to try and find 8, 9, 10. 8, 9, 10. 6 and 5 are over here. 17, 16, 19, no. Oh, this is going to be like the biggest nightmare of all to find these ones on here. This is a huge nightmare. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, there's a whole lot on there, right? Okay. There's 11. There's 10. There's 8. There's 9. Haha. So we have 9. Oh, these are the bad snips. These are the bad snips, Joe. Oh, it was the... Right, okay. Oh, no. So, if your fibros woke you up, which is not the best way to have a wake up in the morning, is it? We know this. We don't like being woke up by things that are not good. Especially things that we should potentially be... the medication should be taken care of. It's kind of why I'm late today. Bit of a late night last night. About the same time-ish, to be quite honest. EB, what is up, homie? Yeah, I've been up for about all of half an hour, 40 minutes. As EB noted last night when I responded to him at like nearly 4 this morning. I was in bed, however. It's not like I was up messing around and being an idiot. I was in bed. But I still responded a couple of times to the Discord because I'd not long gone to bed. I should have gone to bed hours before it. Then maybe I might have not have woke up late this morning and had to rush to come down to get this. And then rush all the way back. And then once I've done that, rush to set up the stream. Everything just rush this morning. It's not exactly the most fun day in the world. Right, so 10 clips into 9 over here. Well, this is the bit that went wrong last time because I dropped the leg, didn't I? First of all, move very sharp implement out of where I'm going to be jamming my hands. Now, try and push fit this ends are here. Son of a bit. So, EB, are you still up from last night? Or did I wake you with messages instead? Please don't say I'm waking people up with messages. That's not good. 8. 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. 8. Right here. They don't put... No, they don't. Yeah, no, they don't. And seeing as I'm only actually looking for one model this time to finish off the unit of 10 that we got in the other magazine, because I lost a leg, and I've definitely lost it because yesterday I dragged everything out from underneath my desk. I got all my boxes out. Okay, I didn't get every single model out of the boxes, but I got most of them. I don't think I would have had enough room to get my Tyranids and Orcs out on the table by the time I'd put the Guard, the Eldar, and half of the Space Marines out. But I'd found the models that I needed by then, so I don't necessarily need to have put them anywhere. Right, 8 clips onto the front of 9, and you get rid of that nubbly bit there. Right, you're not telling me I'm supposed to have done 8 before 9, are you? Because that just seems like a physical impossibility. No, I can see where it's supposed to fit and slide together, so why are you not doing it? Yeah. Fucking ass that it is. Sorry about my language, people, but well, you deal with unruly plastic and try not to get frustrated. It is hard. Right, now we need a head with an arm. So we need 11 and 12. Logic says it should be around here somewhere. I was right, 11's there. And 12 is there. So they're not too far off the other bits. It's just, yeah, they don't, like 1 and 2 are going to be over the other side, and 6 and 7 are not going to be anywhere near 8. It does make it a little frustrating, to say the least. That's 11 and 12, which makes him a shooter. So this catches me up to last week. So I've actually got one 10-man unit now. Well, no, I have more than one 10-man unit. I may not have got all my Orcs out of the tub and the boxes and things, but I certainly looked in there. Yeah, you need to get back to bed, homie. Get yourself some rest. Get yourself some sleep. I know I'm not necessarily gone now for the rest of the day. I get to finish this off. Hopefully enough time to get myself some lunch before I have to nip out. I have a couple of appointments today. And they start pretty much once I've finished here. Because usually it takes a while for me to finish here, let's be honest. It's not like a rush, and I do it in 10 minutes, is it? I've built one guy, I've been sat here for 15 minutes already. I've not even actually finished building this one guy yet. I'm doing the odd thing that I don't usually do though, which is clean up, because these mold lines are really, really bad. If it's not too bad, sometimes I'll let it slide. But most of the time I'll let it slide. But if it's really bad like this, then you just can't. You need to take them excess bits of sprue off from where you clipped. Using bad snips like I did a minute ago really doesn't help with that. So you can get good snips and bad snips. These are official GW ones as well, I think. Yeah. Bloody awful, they really are. I wish I could find my blue or my slim black handled ones. They're nice and smooth. Or at least when it comes to comparing it to the Games Workshop ones anyway. And that little squeak you can hear in the background, yes, is my cat. Yes, she is 17 years old, and she sounds like a kitten. Let's get his head and his arm on. If I can. No worries. No worries, Joe. You go get some rest, man. I I'm going to sit here and get frustrated with little bits of plastic not going together. I think at my age I'd be able to not get frustrated at this, but nope. This is one of the most frustrating things. You're really gonna be frustrated. Now I've already picked out my colours. I'm going for Death Guard green for my skin colour with Coelia green shade the wash. So my orcs will not look as bright and green and colourful and cartoony as the ones in here. Also, I think I'll be going Evil Sons. Yeah, probably Evil Sons to go for a yellow. I'm not sure if that's a good idea, but I think I'll be going Evil Sons as my orc clan. That way, I can do more of a speed war than a hard war, which is what I usually run. I used to run. And now we've got his arms on. Let's see if we can actually get him to sit into his base. Oh, come on. These are all the same. These generic bases designed to fit these models. So don't give me this I'm not going in crap. Bit of pressure on the back there. Hopefully we've not damaged the model. And there we go. We have the final shooter boy. Now, as my complaint was last time, you don't get enough of either to make a full unit of one. So you don't get enough sluggers and choppers, and you don't get enough shooters to actually make a unit of one. So take the sluggers and choppers from this one. And the last one, stick all them together with a knob. You've got a 10-man unit. Take the shooters, or you got to stick the rocket in there as well. And then take the shooters and the big shooter or the rocket with the other knob, and you will still not quite have enough. So bear that in mind. So once you've finished, you will have this time have a rocket launcher arc and your knob boss, which is not on there, will have a power claw. Yes, they only put 9 on there, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is enough to make the choppers and sluggers. But 1, 2, 3. Now that's 4, 5, 6 if you go from last time. A heavy weapon, so 6, a heavy weapon and a knob leader. That's a unit of 8. You're still missing 2 shooters. Not a problem, maybe. You have a good rest, man. You've had a long wild day today. Yesterday, you had to catch a snake at your ma's house, or my in-law's house, and remove it. So yeah, a productive evening for that. In that case, well, cheers, well done, and go get some rest, man. Sleep well. That is iced coffee I'm drinking, by the way. So to paint. General, as always, a bad and black base coat, all the model. Then look for any silver bits. Now some of them may have helmets on, like this guy, where you may paint the helmet silver. You may have cybernetic parts in part of his head. They'll usually get painted silver, along with the guns, some of the trim. So on his shoulder pad here, he's got a panel over the top with spikes on, so they painted that that lead belcher. Same with the boss pole at the back of the knob. Same with the stick bomb, if he's got one attached, which is basically an old like stick style grenade. And that'll be the choppers as well. anything that looks like it should be made of metal, paint, lead belcher. Now, they did give us Auric flesh as the actual paint, and that's the base colour they're going to want us to use for skin tones, is Auric flesh. it will probably take 2 coats to get it smooth, maybe even 3 in that case, because you're going to thin it down a little bit on the wet palette or by having a slightly damper brush. However, you're going to thin it down because it is too thick to go on in one coat. It won't look nice, but you are going to have to layer up a couple of thinner coats to get that nice smooth finish that they've got there. You can see the black coming through, so you know they've given it extra coats. For trousers or tops, both in some cases, they've gone for Mechanica Standard Grey. Where are we here? So there for his trousers. Pardon me, there for his trousers, those for the top. Again, the different models, so just to add variance, they've not done them all like that. For straps and leather, it's Catachan flesh. For the wristbands, which are more like dirty bandages type, they've gone for the Rakat flesh instead, the much lighter, chalkier one. Where is it? That's Slanesh Grey. I could have sworn I had Rakat flesh out the other night. Oh, last night? No, Monday. I could have sworn I had Rakat flesh out. Apparently I did not. I thought I did. Well, really, we should be doing washes over a lot of this, but they aren't doing. Ooh, one of them's got a cyber hand. That'll be the knob leader, who's got a cyborg hand. So what are they asking us for now? So Mephisto on red for the next 4 bits, which are the crotch cloths, a couple of little emblems on like straps and stuff, so some of the details. In this case, they're doing some of the spiky metal bits on him, and the red little tassely bit on his gun going up far red. Hey up, Graham, you alright, mate? You having a good morning so far? I hope so. I hope I didn't do your head in too much with that maths question. I had a feeling you were going to see that and curse me to high heaven. For those of you who are aware, Rogue's Den Hobbies has now got, well, not now, but will soon have a range of dice. They do look nice, it's just that I asked an awkward question. That's not really awkward, it's just a, let's go away type of question. So after you've done the red bits, paint the missiles as well red, because I just get distracted very easily. So the missiles also get painted red. Then we get Screamer Pink to go in and do all the tongues, and then Wraithbone will be for the teeth, and skulls. Avalon Sunset for the big long rocket launcher pipe. Well, again, any of the bandages or wraps have been done in the flesh. So even the ones round the handle of the weapons have been done flesh. But then they've come to Korax White for all the skulls. For all the metal plated skulls. Like these ones. So that's what they would have painted last. Then we're going to wash everything. And as I said, it's the same green shade I'll be using, just not the same shade of green to start with. So Koella green shade as it's written here, or Koella God shade as I call it, because it is fucking brilliant, over all the greens. Null Nile over all the blacks and all the silvers, and the greys, and well, pretty much everything on an arc. They're getting the browns, they're getting the reds, they're getting the black, the whites. They're even Null Nile in the teeth. So what are they going to agrax then? They've got to agrax something. Right, so the agrax in the dirty bandages. Makes sense. Agrax in the skulls. Good point. And then they're going to start applying it to metal pieces to give it a slightly brassy, more rusty, beaten up look. So it's not clean and oily in use. It's got a bit of brown in there. It's got a bit of dirt in it. It's not maintained like a Space Marine gun. It can fire off sheer belief alone. So they don't need to scrub the dust off and the dirt off because it still works just as well. So they're going over skulls, guns, bullets. And then for the yellows, or for the yellow, it's only one bit of yellow, Oh no, he's not. They've gone for the back of the power claw yellow as well. See there? They left that one out. Back of the power claw, because they've been ignoring this bloody war boss. This not the war boss, the knob. I forgot about the little thing on the back of his arm. So both of those will be Avalon Sunset first, and then Reichland Flash Shade for a wash tone. Then Relayer. So they're going back in now, more advanced painting. So it's not just base layer wash done anymore. It's now base layer wash relayer for highlighting. So come back over the raised areas of the muscles over the arc, and any raised like ridges over the eyes, tips of nose, tips of ears, things like that. Bits where the light's gonna catch it more, so you've still got the recesses deeper in the muscles, but you're going back with auric flesh just over those tips. And then basing again, you get your Astro Granite, I believe it was, and your Spodgy tool, space it all out, get it all nice, and then quick dry brush over it with either white, ivory, any off, well, a light grey or an ivory. You want really an off white. White's too stark, and then you can build up to a white if you want that peak highlight point, and that'll get you your bases. Bear in mind that orcs have metal shoes as well. They do like steel toe caps in the literal sense. So as far as a work in progress goes, did you remember to paint the cable on the back of the War Boss's Power Claw? Which they're asking you now. And in this case, they've gone for multicoloured rockets. So they've got red and black, white, black, silver. They are varying it up a little bit at least. There's the one with the metal skull. And as we've already pointed out, the metal hand for the art knob. A few teeth and decorations and horns and stuff which they have gone through with ivory and agrax. So just going over all the areas, make sure you pick up the little bits of detail. I know it takes ages if you're not used to it and you've never done it before, going through, well, where's that bit, well, where's that bit, what do we do with that one? Like for instance, this little guy that I made today, that little bit there on the end of his arm, the little spike, that's a tooth, so that'll be going ivory instead of the flesh shade that the rest of his wrist would go. Metal plate on the back of his hand, metal plate on the strip of his shoulder with an extra little metal sticky out bit that you could also paint black. So there's lots of things that you can just change colours tiny little bits just to make them all different. Cheers, Dan. Good morning. I'm assuming you've just got up and you're getting a little one ready for school. So where are we up to now? Data sheets, which we did cover last time, but we didn't cover the full rocket launcher and power claw stat line because it was just a big shooter and big chopper that he wanted us to do last time. Now, Power Claw, same amount of attacks as a big chopper, hits on a 4, not a 3, but strength 9, minus 2 AP, and it's the same 2 damage, so a little bit stronger, more AP on the Power Claw. So anything toughness, it's gonna. The only time it's really toughness 8 and 9 is the only place that's really gonna come into a difference. Oh, well, toughness 4 as well, because you're more than double. So 4, 8 and 9. That's the only toughness levels where it's going to make a real difference. I don't think you get anything toughness 14. AP is a big one though. AP is a very big one. And the rocket launcher, again, strength 9. So in this case, it's not quite double the big shooter, but it's going to make again, the difference is going to come in where 5's wound on 5s and 9's high enough to wound on 3s or 4s. So that's like toughness 6, 7, 8, 9. He's going to make it a lot easier to wound on that one. That minus 2 AP and damage 3. So you can pop a few a Terminator with a shot if you're lucky enough. And you could go up to 3 shots. You're not taking out a full unit of Terminators, but you can do enough damage. Then obviously you can pile in, charge them, and hopefully fight first. So what's the next one? We have missions. Before you can wage war in a game of Warhammer 40,000, you must first select a mission. The core rules include a single mission. Only war. Or only war if you're an orc. That is ideal to get the action started quickly. Others can be found elsewhere in this or other books. This is a magazine, not a book, someone needs to tell. Or you can play a mission of your own creation. If you and your opponent can't agree on which mission to play, you must roll off, and the winner decides. I'm sure there's other ways to work it out than rolling off. Flip a coin. Play something else if you're really not friggin' bothered. So how to actually go about it? Once you've got your mission, you muster your armies, which is build up your forces. So in this case, they're probably going to want you to use a bit of orcs. You've got a war boss, you've got 2 units of orcs. They're going to want you to use orcs. Read your mission objectives. So is it a take and hold? Is it more of a board control mission? Is it just a straight wipe each other off the board mission? Create the battlefield to match these scenarios. So you know how many objective markers you need, if any. And determine who's the attacker and defender, so you know who's going first. Declare which battle formations, leaders, warlords, warlord traits, and everything your opponent will need to know before the start of the battle, and stuff you should have ready before the start of the battle. Then you deploy armies. Each mission includes a deployment and which order to set up in, so it'll tell you either that attacker starts or defender starts, or it'll tell you who gets to start deploying first. You determine the first turn after that, which is part 7. Again, the mission will tell you most of this. So, where's my Leviathan mission pack? I know it sounds on the Mac for a strange me. There we go. So the Leviathan deck that I got with the start of this edition. Let's have a look now. We have secondary missions for the attacker. Gambits for the defender. Mission rules. Are they no. So we've got mission rules. Primary mission in this case, and you'll also have secondary missions as well as deployment zones. So in this mission, each player, so I've chosen secret intel for my mission rule just because it's short to read. In this mission, in each player's command phase, the first time that player draws a secondary mission card chose. Oh, so that's the wrong one. I wanted the other ones. The primary missions. There we go. The ritual. That's usually a fun one. So we'll start with the ritual. So this is actually a mission, I hope. When setting up the battlefield, remove all objective markers in no man's land except the one closest to the centre of the battlefield. In each player's shooting phase, the player whose turn it is, pardon me, can select one unit from their army that is not battle shots and is eligible to shoot. Until the end of that turn, that unit is not eligible to shoot or charge, and at the end of the turn, the player whose turn it is can set up one objective marker wholly within no man's land and within an inch of that unit, providing it can be set up 9 inches away from other objective markers. And yeah, so you've got to stay 9 inches away from other objective markers. In the second, third and fourth battle rounds, at the end of each command phase, the player whose turn it is scores 5 victory points for each objective marker in no man's land they control, maximum of 15. In the fifth battle round, the player who has first turn scores the victory points as described above, but the player who goes second does not score them as described above, but does so at the end of their turn instead of their command phase. So it gives them a chance to move, put one down, and then score it. So that'll be the priority mission, the main mission that you both play towards. But you'll also determine your deployment zone. So in this one, there's one in the defenders, one in the attackers, but there are 3 within no man's land. So with the mission, we'll have to take the top one and the bottom one off, leaving the very central one still available, and then start putting down objective markers in no man's land, which is the centre, to score the mission. I know it sounds complicated, but it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Well, there's secondary missions for the defense. You do get secondary missions and other ways to score objective points. As I said, depending on your mission, depends on how well you will score. Oh, I forgot I had markers for objectives. So, resolve any pre-battle rules once you've determined who's getting the first turn and your battlefield has been set up. So, you resolve that alternating between each other. So, any scout movements, anything that happens just before the game, scout movements, command redeploys, anything like that. And then you begin the battle. The first battle round begins and the plays continue until the battle rounds have ended. So you'll work through round 1, battle round 2, battle round 3, 4 and 5. Scoring victory points and objectives as along the way. At the end of the battle, each mission will tell you when the battle ends, usually turn 5. Or when somebody's achieved a certain condition, such as you're not on the board anymore. I've killed everything. Turn 4, gone, I win. That type of thing. So you add up the points if it's a point scoring, or units if it's a board wipe thing, and that will determine your victor. And obviously whoever scores the most or kills their opponent quick enough, they win. So objective markers. Objective markers represent objects of tactical or strategic import to both sides. Or strategic import that both sides are attempting to secure. As a valuable artifact, vital supplies, or communication nodes. If a mission uses objective markers, it will state where they are located on the battlefield. This can be represented by using any suitable marker, but we would recommend using markers that are 40mm in diameter, which I'm gonna hope that they are, because, well, I've put them away and I don't know anything to measure them with right now. When setting objective markers up on the battlefield, place them so that they are centered on a point specified by the mission. When measuring distances to and from objective markers, measure to and from the closest part of them. Models can move over objective markers as though they were not there, but they cannot end a move on top of an objective marker. Oh, I didn't know that. I thought you actually could fit, even if it's flat, I thought you could actually finish right in the centre. Apparently you can't. New to me. At the start of the battle, each objective marker on the battlefield is said to be contested, and so is not controlled by either player. To control an objective marker, a player will first need to move models within range, 3 inches horizontally or 5 inches vertically of that objective marker. Every model has an OC, an objective control characteristic, listed on its datasheet to determine a player's level of control over an objective marker. Add together the OC of all the models from the player's army and their unit that are within range of the objective marker. A player will control an objective marker at the end of a phase if their level of control is greater than their opponent's. If it's equal, it's still contested. So hints and tips. Ooh, we've got a hints and tips section here. Don't usually get these. Many players choose to bring the narrative of their missions to life by positioning objective markers within exciting terrain features or on the battlefield. When setting up terrain features, you can place them where an objective marker would be, so long as you can reposition that objective marker directly on top of that terrain piece and it lies flat without overhanging at any part. That objective marker should still be more than 1 inch away from all impassable parts of that terrain feature, such as the walls of the ruin, so that there is sufficient room for models to move around it. So don't stick it, so if this is the corner of the ruin piece, don't stick it like here where nobody's going to be able to get it. You have to put it more like into the ruin so people can come round the walls and claim the objective. If it is not possible to set up terrain features or objective markers in this way, and both players agree, you can nudge positions of any terrain feature or objective markers so that these conditions are satisfied. Of course, the final position of an objective marker should be as close as possible to the location indicated on your mission's deployment map. But if both players are happy to tweak the battlefield arrangements to forge a stronger narrative, you should feel free to do so. Essentially, it's rules are suggestions, not laws. Don't panic. So, we are now on for the scenario. A gooder crumping. And this is, the hive mind has sent more tyrannid creatures to probe the defences of the orcs. The orcs are only too pleased to provide them with demonstration of good orky brutality. So to play a gooder crumping, set up your battlefield on a single map as shown below, so using battle map 3. Good morning, Alex. How are you doing? You okay? Good to see you. We're near enough at the end. We've built the orcs. We've gone through the basics of objective markers, so a 40mm coin thing. Do I still have it here? I do still have them here. I've got them closer to hand than I thought. So something about that big roughly. Place it flat, can't be within 9 inches, and if you want to put terrain on it, make sure it can sit flat higher up. And then if it doesn't work out quite how you want to, as long as you and your opponent are fine with it, move them around if need be. Don't throw that there because I'm going to lose it. I need all 6 markers. So now we're up to the bit where they're going to show us a mission. So we set up map 3 as shown below, and next you gather your forces. The orc player takes both units of 10 boys if you've built both units of 10 and not lost a leg like I did, so you've not got 2 units of those 10. I mean, I can make up 20 boys, don't get me wrong, I can definitely do it. It's just not the exact units they would want. So, yeah, and the Tyrannid, what does the Tyrannid get? The Tyrannid player takes a unit of 10 Termagants and a unit of 3 Von Ryan Leapers. It's got 20 boys versus 3 Von Ryan's Leapers, and yeah, I don't fancy the Tyrannid's chances. Finally, the units are deployed following the instructions below. During the game, players may use the 3 special abilities detailed on the next page. Ooh, we're going to get next page stuff. Good morning, Lee. Good morning. Are you calling in the left? I like and you got to go head off to work, Lee. Not a problem, man. Not a problem. I too have things to do today. I have to go get a dentist. Nobody likes a dentist. And I'm glad you're having all right, Alex. Alex, are you collecting the magazine? Did you get today's issue? Because if you did, have you managed to put the boys together yet? Because they're frustrating as hell. So back to the magazine. Deployment for this mission. So first of all, it's got the Orcs deployment down here and the Tyrannid deployment down here. Right on the edge of the Orcs deployment is objective marker 1. Then on the top is objective marker 2. Objective marker 3 goes mirrored to the Orcs one straight across, but right on the edge of their deployment. And objective marker 4 is right on the bottom. So there's only 4 objectives in this one. So first, the Orc players place their units in their deployment zone. Then the Tyrannid places their units in their deployment zone. The Orc player takes the first turn. In this scenario, you may not take any enhancements or secondary objectives, and neither side may use any faction abilities or stratagems. Bugger. Oh well. How to win. That's the important bit, I suppose. At the end of each player's command phase, players score victory points as follows. If they destroy an enemy unit, they score 5 victory points. Nice. If they control an objective marker, they score 5 victory points. Awesome. At the end of the 5th battle round, the player with the largest number of victory points is the winner. And if you draw, then you draw. So what are these special abilities and rules that they're going to go through? Let's find out. So special abilities. During the game, each player can make use of the following 3 special abilities. They can use each one of them only once, and they must be used during the phase indicated in the instructions below. So, first one is, get 'em lads! During your charge phase, until the end of the phase, one unit can declare a charge in a turn in which it fell back. The example they give here is the Arcs falling back, and then steaming back into the Van Ryan's Leapers. Not a bad one. Second rule is the "Got surrounded." During your fight phase, select one unit. Until the end of that phase, each time a model in the selected unit makes a pile-in or consolidation move, they can move up to 6 inches instead of 3, giving the ability to wrap and trap so they can't fall back without doing desperate escapes. Dirty tactic, but it works. And the third one, which is down here, which is nobody shoots at me. During your opponent's shooting phase, select one unit. If the unit was the target of a shooting attack from an enemy unit, you can make a normal move of up to d6 inches, but it must end its move as close as possible to the enemy unit. So in this case, they have a Orc Boyz unit being shot by the Termagants. They've used it. They've rolled a 4, so they move 4 inches closer to the things that I've just shot. It's the Blood Surge. You've got World Eaters, and you used to, and what the Berserkers do. You shoot them, they run at you. And the melee units, you don't want them to run at you. The last section is the usual. If the Orcs win, the Orcs win. Orcs always win. Orcs never lose. And if the Tyrannies win, then the Orcs have become lunch. If it's a draw, they're going to go back and try again. Oh no, and now you get to choose your enemy. Ooh. So you can change this scenario up. You can always customize this scenario to gain more experience of how your boys fare against different opponents. Both players should help to decide which enemies to use so that both have fun and learn about their units. To help build a fun and engaging scenario, you can look at the weapons that your boys have. So, Power Claw in this case. You might want to consider the Boss Nob's Power Claw and the enemies that it would work well against. With its outstanding strength, armor piercing and damage characteristics, it would make short work of enemies, even Terminators. However, Terminators are a dangerous foe, and too many of them may overpower the boys. The right number would make for an exacting matchup. So they say don't throw the full unit of 10 Terminators in there, because a 2+ armor save when they've not got much AP shooting at you, they're not going to take many out before they get into close combat, and then you're relying on the AP of 2 models, one with a Power Claw, one with a big chopper, and even then they're saving on 4s, so it's gonna be hard. The choppers, speaking of which, boys armed with choppers are deadly in close combat. It would be fun to put them up against a challenging foe. Legionaries also have an excellent close combat weapons. They're chainsaws. Yeah, they have chainsaws. They are more heavily armoured than the boys, so the right amount of them would make a fun challenge and an interesting experiment. Again, you'll need the Orcs to outnumber the Chaos Marines just to get it even. If you want it to be one-sided though, yeah, just throw all 10 Legionaries at them. So all 10 Legionaries and the Havocs just chew through the boys. Now, nothing. Gone. Bye. And the last one, the Rocket Launcher. The Rocket Launcher has a blast keyword, which gives it more attacks when it faces larger units. It also has a very high strength characteristic and a high damage characteristic. That also means it's useful against tougher models. However, it is not the most accurate of weapons. Well, it is, just not in the hands of an Orc. And we don't want anything at all if the boys keep missing. So yeah, it's useless if on your 5+s you don't hit. But if you do, it's a strength 9 -2 AP, 3 damage, and he's busting armor open. So weapons against certain enemies make sure. So your anti-infantry is going against your anti-infantry. Your anti-elite or anti-vehicle is going against the tougher stuff. So if, for instance, you wanted to go, well, let's see how tough I can go. Throw the Hell Brute at them. Just the Hell Brute, because small arms aren't going to do much to it. And it's only going to be your big stuff that's going to come up to even consider causing it damage. Or get your War Boss in your Mega Armoured War Boss. Put him in one of the Boyz squads. Or put him with them. And all of a sudden the damage output for your unit, for your army, just gone up considerably. Having a big shooter and a power claw and some nice other things. And the big shooter shot by a grot. Good morning, Ali. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing well. I'm going to have a bit drink. It's getting up late for this. It's not helping me. I'm going to need more coffee before I have to go out and do things. So that's the magazine for today covered. So it took me 50 minutes, but then again I've only built one model compared to the last time when I built 9. So what we're getting in issue 46. Issue 46 we are getting 2 new paints, which are Stormhost Silver and Quester Night Flesh. And it is just telling us about those 2 paints and a scenario, I think that's going to be it, which is only war. That's it, only war. Then issues 47 and 48 are going to be a double issue again. It's going to, over the 2 issues, you'll get 3 Death Copters. In issue 47, it'll cover part 1 of the Death Copters, more highlighting. So, like it told you today to go over with the Auric Flesh after you'd already painted Auric Flesh, then washed it with Koala Green Shade, do the highlighting layer with the Auric Flesh again. It's going to go a little bit more into how to do that on the highlighting section. And then new faction rules apparently in issue 47. Ooh, that should be fun. It's got to be all faction rules. We're going to learn about the war. We are. And in issue 48 it looks to be obviously part 2 of the Death Copters. Cunning but brutal. So I'm guessing that's we're going to get brutal but cunning as one faction rule, and it's going to go through cunning but brutal for the second issue. And melee weapons. But we've covered melee weapons, haven't we? I mean, it certainly has made us do melee fighting before, so yeah, he's covered melee weapons, unless he's going to cover things like obscure melee weapons like tank tracks and rotor blades and things like that. But that should be interesting for 48. That's getting way ahead of us because that's next week. That one, issue 47, I will not be here for. I will try and pick it up and cover 47 on the same week that I cover 48. So we will be building the Death Copters on one big go. And then I'll cover the more highlighting new faction rules, cunning and brutal, and melee weapons, all in that one episode. So it will be a long one because I'll be covering 2 issues. But next week I will be covering the 2 paints. Why can't that be the other way round? So I can hold off covering the paints. But I suppose it makes sense to do all of them together. So that should be fun. So next week we'll cover the paints. The week after, as I said, I'm very briefly away. On that Wednesday for definite. Probably for the Monday and the Thursday as well. But I'm in talks with Sparkles about whether or not there's some way I can do those streams. Not sure, but we'll see. We'll see. But I am looking forward to getting more Death Copters. I do like Death Copters. They're fun. They're great. They just steam forward and blow things up with rockets. And they have invulnerable saves and all, so it's great. But I'm getting ahead of us. I'm getting far too far ahead of us. That's a couple of weeks away. And Graham is busy. You're busy, mate. Your back is burning. And since just landed, so you can film the last bits of your YouTube video, and you're somewhat underwhelmed. We are our own worst critics, Graham. If you want to stitch it together and pop it into a Discord, ask for a bit of feedback, feel free. Obviously, I'm offering my Discord, but you're aware of other Discords where you might get more creative feedback and more constructive feedback that you might be able to work off. But Biggie, hello. Just in at the end there, mate. Just in at the end. Thank you. Yeah, pop an unlisted video up for people to have a look at. You can always delete them then, and you don't have to put it public if you're not happy. Pop an unlisted video up, and then you can give it to people and share it out, and we can, or they can look at it, give you their feedback, what they say, what they think, and you can chop, change, edit from there. Going on that point though. Alright, so you've not filmed it yet, you're just testing one. Right, so once you've worked out how to get things like that to work, then go to what I've just said if you wish. I'm jumping again. I'm getting too far ahead. I'm way too far ahead. Let's just stop because I'm not right up here at the minute. Still not fully woke up. Tablets still. Need more coffee. Need food. So I'm going to end it here. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming in. If you've enjoyed this, if you want to see more of what I do here on this channel, please hit the like or the subscribe. Down in the description below, things like the links for my Discord and the Amazon wishlist, which some of the stuff that I use and some of the stuff that I was like, I need to pick these up, make a list of them so I don't forget. Other things as well in the links if you want to have a look. It's all down there. It's up to you. But thank you very much for joining me. I will see you tomorrow night for the Magical World of Sparkles and Unk, which I'm still not sure of what we're doing. I'm either going to do the little fire guy or I'm going to dig out the other one that's going to replace this little person. One or the other. So I'll figure that out tomorrow night. Thank you everybody for coming and drive safe. See you next time.